Welcome everybody to the SEO Vault. This is episode 215. I am joined by my guests, Mark and Sophie, co-host guests, whatever you want to call them. They're here every week. Welcome everybody. This is the
Hi.
SEO Vault, where we're going to analyze SEO news, recent test updates, Web20 ranker updates, all that good stuff. We got a lot of big brand updates, sales information coming up, software information, training stuff. A lot of awesome stuff. Stick around, and let's just jump right into it. How's everybody doing on this fine day?
Good, Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm good. I'm tired.
Working hard.
The time change in Colorado is not
I
on
forgot about that. I literally was working one day and kept thinking it was later. And then my kitchen, the stove and the microwave, since they aren't smart stove and smart microwave yet, they didn't update. So every time I walked into the kitchen, I thought it was later. I was like, oh man, I'm running out of time. Then I'd walk back in my office and sit down and work and be like, oh man, I got tons of time to get this done. And I did that for the whole day until I realized that the clocks were different.
Is time even real, man? Maybe
Well,
that's
they
what we'll
changed
talk
it, so
about
no,
this
it's not.
episode.
It's just a con.
Wait, didn't we get rid of daylight
Man-made
savings time?
construct.
I
Some
thought they
places
voted
did.
for it, but it wasn't. I thought it was going to happen this year.
Me too. That's what threw me off. Time is a construct, but time is not just. It also includes space. Who's that? I just saw Neil deGrasse Tyson say it yesterday, which is why you brought it up. You can't have a time without a place. If I say meet me at this time, it's where. If I say meet me here, it's at what time.
Well, it's those those space movies like Interstellar, where you go to a different universe or a dimension, and it time's different. 1 year here is 5 years somewhere else.
Well, yeah, we actually can observe that already with atomic clocks at sea level and on top of mountains, where we could actually see time impact differently based on gravity and location to other masses.
What?
Oh yeah, you didn't know.
Time
Time
moves
moves slower,
Sophie.
around the pyramid. If you go to the pyramids, time moves slower there than because all the mass. Yeah, gravity and mass and shit affects.
Time and space are connected. We know that. So yeah, that's welcome to the SEO Vault.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's a dickhead.
I actually am not a huge fan. A lot of the things
he's a dickhead.
Is he? I mean, just talk to him?
Regardless of what, regardless of what he says, when he's an astrophysicist, he's obviously smarter than me in astrophysics, right?
But he can still be a dick.
I'm not saying he's dumb, he's a dickhead. You ever see him talk to people? He just conversationally dominates people. He would piss me. You start talking, he's just brah, 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 brah. It's dude, that isn't how you have a conversation, you dick. He's a dick. Guy's a dickhead, dude.
Well, he definitely knows more than everyone he talks to, it appears. That's the way it feels whenever so I get what you're saying.
You want to know, the one time I did see him not do that was, I can't remember the physicist's name now. He's the one who really propelled simulation theory when he said he found computer code in the universe, right? In the building blocks of the universe. He actually, Tyson actually was blown away. He's like, what? He actually did a weird. He's like, whoa! He did a scared, he saw a ghost.
It's got to be hard for him to get excited about certain scientific things at this point when you know that much about. You know what I mean? Just when someone tells me about a new SEO link tool or a new AI tool, I'm just okay, so that's cool.
I usually just start talking over them. Blah, 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 blah,
well, let me tell you about how AI works.
All right, good start.
Yeah.
He's definitely a dickhead, though. I'm not saying I like him or don't like him or he's right or wrong. I would never have the balls to say if he was right or wrong. He's obviously an astrophysicist, but he's
my favorite Tyson is in Zoolander 2, and I'll just leave it at that. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It is the best cameo movie ever. It is literally, if you saw the first Zoolander, they made a second one and just put cameos in it. Benedict Cumberbatch, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Katy Perry. The list goes on. Everyone is in it. Everyone, just go
And
watch
this
it.
week's episode is brought to you by Zoolander 2 and Neil deGrasse Tyson. The next episode won't be like I called him a dickhead. We lost that sponsor.
So now that we're done promoting that, let's talk about the Black Friday sale. While
That
you're
starts
watching
today.
Zoolander 2. Yeah,
Black
go
Friday
shop.
starts today, actually.
That's right. What is
Hey!
go buy stuff while you're watching Zoolander 2.
Yep.
More importantly,
There you
though,
go.
we got a lot of crazy prizes. So if you do want to fill them in on the shindig,
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. So we'll do 25% off store wide, like we normally do a store wide discount, but then we'll also do 30% off any monthly campaigns. That
The first
includes all
month.
the add-ons too. So it could be a pretty big savings. And then we'll do some sort of special deal on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I think we'll announce those when the day comes. And then we have the 5 bonus levels, which will be each level is worth more than it was the year before, so they're getting more value. And there'll be 3 new trainings. So we haven't done a ton of new trainings or courses lately, so that'll be a big focus. Mike is going to do an AI course. Mark is doing one about client acquisition and lead generation. And then Viosa, who manages the GBP department, is doing a new local training. What else is there? Oh, and then Mark's grand prize that I was just working on. Do you want to tell them more about it?
1,000 moments with Mark is what it's called.
1,000 moments with Mark. I kind of like that.
It could be. Dude, Sophie hated that idea.
I know.
I didn't
She
hate
shot
it.
that
I just said
down.
1,000 wasn't right.
No, so for the grand prize, we will randomly select an agency who makes a purchase, any purchase to be entered. It's not based on how much you spend or any other thing. It's just you buy, you're entered. I don't know what I was going for there, but I failed. So we'll randomly select an agency, and you have 2 options. Either one, you and or your team can connect with me virtually, and we will take any challenges in your business. We'll break them down. We'll whiteboard it. We'll collaborate. If there's any tools or resources I have at my disposal to offer you, to help you, they're yours. We can redo processes. We can rework high-level strategy. Anything in your agency or SaaS business, I will assist with. The other option is you can actually come out. We'll pay for your flight, lodging, food, all of that good stuff, and we can do that same thing in person. You want to bring some of your team, you have to pay for your team. I mean, it's a grand enough prize it is, right? I can't fly your whole company out, but I mean, that's just starting to get wild here. But no, but you bring your team out, we can collab in person. I know some people work a little better in person than through a Zoom or some type of virtual meet. So, and again, if you decide to do that option, we will pay for you, your flight, your lodging, that type of stuff. You want to bring extra people, you got to cover that. But we'll meet up. We'll get belly to belly. Maybe not literally belly to belly. We can. I mean, this 2-day extravaganza is going to be all about you.
What you need is what you get.
What you need is what you'll get. So if that means you have to get belly to belly, then you can touch my belly. We don't need to be weird about it. I'm not going to be weird about it. Sophia won't be weird, I promise. Just eliminated anyone from coming out. They're like, dude, we're not coming to you. We're going to do the virtual.
Yeah, we're doing the virtual for sure.
This weirdo's talking about belly to belly and shit. No, but but no. So if we want to do it in person, we do it in person. We do it virtually. Just you, your team, your partner, whatever.
You could probably fly out
wanna
yourself
do.
and bring your team on virtually too. If you want your team involved but can't pay to fly them out, still want to go belly to belly with Mark for a weekend.
Mike.
There you go.
There's so many options
Yeah.
of interacting. And like I said, we'll probably do about 2 days. Anything over that, you probably won't like to hang out with me in real life more than that anyway. I start to get pretty boring. I just work, basically. I'm pretty lame dude. But when it comes to businesses, man, I maybe I need to get better at the self-promotion shit again. I think I used to be better, but I'm just not. Like, But if you have an agency or a SaaS, I can benefit your business in a big way.
Oh yeah.
I've benefited my own agencies and SaaS, bought them, sold them, bootstrapped them, the whole nine. And I guess I was asked to put like a value on it. And I know we have a value of like a $10,000 prize. And God, this is really going to sound cringy, but like it's probably worth. Like the thing is, it's hard to put a price because I don't sell consulting anymore. And the reason I don't sell it is because I really value my time. I've made myself and my partners millions and millions of dollars. I've made other people millions and millions of dollars. Like, you can't put a price on my hours, friends. I'm sorry.
You also have endless resources. Like all the updates we're doing in Web 20 is what you've brought to the table. Well, and me too, but I mean, you got a lot of resources. I mean,
stop. Mike.
Seriously, the AI tool, the link tool. Are you blushing, Mark? Is it
a little? It's nice to feel appreciated, Mike.
Dude, one day mastermind with you is worth 10 grand. That's the way I feel.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's special. I don't sell consulting anymore because I don't feel good charging what I am worth. So I just don't sell it. I'm serious. Like, but I easily I don't. Right now, I would sell 1,000 an hour consulting. Maybe I wouldn't sell it, but that is what I'd charge, and I'd require more than 1 hour booking. Like you'd have to get like a. Yeah, we got to do projects.
And you got to be interested in the project too. Like that's even where I'm at. Like if I don't even want to, if I don't care about what you're doing, then I definitely ain't gonna even sell you $1,000 an hour. I don't like selling hours either, though. It's such a weird valuation of yourself.
I rarely do consult. The last consulting project I did was with an agency. You guys remember because I worked with Web 20 on that. It was before we bought Web 20. And we charged $100,000 for the consulting, and we sold $50,000 in services. So that's the numbers that you can get me. That's how you get me.
A big boy.
You gotta come to the table with a hundo, and then so I don't say that to brag. I mean that's funny. I made it sound funny. But those are the projects that you can catch me on, and we implemented entire SEO systems, built teams, sold service. I mean that was an entire. You guys remember that? I imagine it wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean we overhauled that business and at least our SEO division, right? Completely evergreen training for new hires. I mean we put major systems in place. So that type of shit interests me, and you can always anyone that's ever interested, if you have a check to write. Come see me. I can even finance for you at this point. Mark will get that financing for you. But it's not my main gig. I don't do that. I don't sell hours. It's come spend 2 days with me. You get everything. There's no weird upsell or shit I'm going to try to sell you. 2 days, we'll kick ass together. And I think you'll feel a lot better about whatever problems you have or obstacles that are in your way. So that's the grand prize. You buy a press release, you're entered. You buy a ton of shit, you're entered.
Yeah, buy anything.
Yep.
Right.
So.
During the sale. Yeah.
Which,
that starts today, though. So, yeah, you got from today to, when does it run till?
Next Tuesday, the 28th is the last day.
Okay. So you got a full week to spend $1 with us.
Yeah. Oh, and then having said that, one quick thing, we'll probably do this after the new year. I don't want to book our time before the Christmas holiday. Because it is, and aside from being, I hope I didn't sound douchey about what I charge. That wasn't my intention, but I do get douchey about family. I want to take some time with my family, and it's a busy time of year and shit. So we will be meeting up either in person or virtually, Q1, somewhere in Q1 of 24. So that way, I don't want people to get upset. Hey, I won this.
What am I coming out next
Black
week?
Friday sale. I'm ready to come. Right. It's just a super busy, especially, I don't know if you guys saw in the chat, we want to step up our philanthropy this year a bit too. So I want to try to do some shit with that. And it's just going to be a busy time. My one brother that lives out west is coming for a week. just family, man. Like it's a lot of family stuff, and I want to try to do some local philanthropy and stuff. It's just too busy. I don't want to mess my time up. No one else wants to come either. Like, let's be honest. Look at this face. You don't want to mess your Christmas plans up for this. We'll do Q1.
Yeah, take the time off at the end of the year, wind down, hit 2024 hard. That's the way to do it. But you're also.
I always feel like. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, Mark was talking about all the things he's doing with family, but you're also doing like a ton of training and stuff right now, even for Web 20. On top of, like, if you're gonna be doing all the content for Web 20, the holidays, they're probably gonna be some of the busiest sales time of the year. You know, definitely.
You're telling me.
Hit it strong at the beginning of the year for sure.
And you just segued into Mark's new training that was published last Friday.
Yeah. Data-driven content, which I actually personally want to watch because I remember having conversations with Mark ways back about blog content and just pretty much I remember the basis of the conversation is like what content is on a website that is not needed or a waste or even hurting things. And there's been a lot of interesting discoveries that I know Mark has gone over, I've gone over, but yeah, definitely check out that training. That's something I think a lot of people don't really look at the industry, especially when you look at like blogging, you know, running a blog on like a local roofer site, or even like blogging on an attorney site. There's a lot of valuable things you could blog about, but people get lost in the SEO side of it and not really in the promotional marketing, data-driven side.
Well, just look at all of the SEO testing that Lasha's been doing with the content on-page optimization.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I didn't even remember he was doing that until you were talking about content.
Like there was I don't know if you went over this in the training, but I remember at one point, Mark, you had even talked about how you found a site or you were working on a site that had a lot of content that just wasn't getting any traffic at all, and you like literally like 503'd the page or something, like completely removed them or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I actually built a tool that the Web 20 team, I think Lasha improved it. Lasha improved a bunch of my tools because he's kick-ass. But that was a big thing we started pushing a long time ago, where we create basically just a logic where you dump your analytics data in, and pages and your GSC. I always love mixing that data a bit for like positioning purposes, because even though something might not get traffic, if it has good positioning or close to good positioning, there's an opportunity to test it. It's already being auditioned. So to get that pushed up to get traffic is always a good option. But yeah, and then what we do if a page is like, there's a few different conditions, like if then that statements, if this then that statements. And basically, it's just a way to prune where if a page has, you know, oh man, I don't know, like under X number of clicks. Like it just depends on the page. Like local and national and e-com, like that, you should change those formulas, you know, accordingly. But if basically all these scrap pages, another thing to look at and something we didn't technically layer in, but it was just something we looked at, was the crawl budget and which pages were getting crawled, which ones were falling out of index, which that's something not a ton of people have talked about, at least that I've seen. Very anecdotal statement there, but dude, indexing's been wild, where Google basically is like, this page isn't important to me anymore. On the website, we're not even including it. So we look for that type of stuff too, and then it becomes almost like a formula of new content, fresh content that is done in a way that's not just for search, but also kind of for search. Like we want, but it's also top of the funnel, mouth of the funnel type of content, and then analyzing that and making sure it gets some type of traction over time. And the ones that don't get traction, kind of pruning it off. And yeah, I mean, we've seen from start to finish on that, from the adding content and then watching the server logs to see Googlebot crawling it, seeing what ratio of that content indexes, the effect that content has on other rankings. Very interesting stuff, which actually we have in Lasha's test. we can see that the content he's doing. And then, I mean, this is still validating this. When I was doing this shit, it was 5-6 years ago. Like, the tests today are still validating that Google is crawling, extracting content, understanding content, valuing it, weighing it in a very similar fashion, at least foundationally. You know, the helpful content update and stuff is going to change things and has changed things a bit, but it's still like all of that content he added, even though we lost some keywords. So there's a little bit of sneak peek into the test update. The content and on page where it's just topical relevance, right? It was a content, no link experience to push rankings. We lost some keywords for some things. We gained some more keywords though. And the homepage is still climbing in rank, and we've seen that correlation consistently as we add new pages. Whatever crawl budget is allotted, we see the Google bot going through, looking around, and it just weighs. It's a weird weighing mechanism that it's like, hey, this site is gaining some type of authority or something that's causing other pages to increase rank, and it can be correlated to the new relevant content, even though some portion of that we might have to prune. It's really cool to see that shit validated years later. But yeah, so we've built little tools to look at that stuff, and that's always like pruning's always a thing, and we've seen it a lot in legal clients, because some lawyer blogs might surprise you. We don't do a lot in law. We did a lot in personal injury. You go through, and I mean, it's those local lawyers can have 300 pages of blog content. I mean, they're covering different traffic laws, different accidents that happen. There's some like creative content going on there to try to promote relevance and stuff. But when you really dig in, and I actually show that in the video, my whole example's PI based. You know, we looked at 200 million clicks, not just 200 million clicks. So we segmented based on commercial clicks, non-commercial clicks, and then we were looking at which of those clicks, like what pieces of content were they clicking on and then converting into a good lead or a case. And that's how we developed that content plan then. And in the video I talk a bit about, like, don't worry if you don't have 200 million clicks. Like, you can start to do this with other data. You can feed it SERP data. It's one of the best places to get data, is where when Google shows you what's important for a keyword.
Mm-hmm.
You can grab data from Google AdWords. You literally see the most popular terms that get clicked, the seasonality. Like, you can see patterns. There's tons of data there. Ahrefs' data. Like, everyone has data. Data is accessible. Even if you have 5 clients in the same niche, there's data there. You know, is it exhaustive? Maybe not, but it's a starting point. That GSC and analytics data. So
I think the biggest thing is that, like, with what we're talking about here, because we talk a lot about like reverse engineering Google and being in parity, but the very first thing we generally do as SEO is start at a point that isn't reverse engineering or in parity. We pick a keyword that we believe is best, and then we try to create optimized content around that. But at the point that we're already looking at a specific page and breaking down on a granular level, we're kind of outside of the big picture. And what Mark's looking at really with this data-driven content is the content even valuable to Google in Google's eyes? Do we make it more valuable, or is it an authority? Like, is it number 5 for a keyword that could get some traffic? Or is it just not ranking at all and like popping in out of index? And then maybe it's like, well, does this content, there multiple, pieces of value here that maybe we could deliver across other keywords or pages? And that's where you're looking at competition and stuff, but it's kind of taking out the front end of just saying, okay, we start with our keywords, and then you're saying, how do I increase this keyword? Once you kind of have that going, you're looking at a big picture and saying, what is Google showing for what terms, what content, how, and how do we use that data to enhance it? Not just randomly start trying to pick terms and optimize more blog posts and stuff. So that's probably why it's evergreen.
Yeah.
Why it still validates today.
And not just, so I love what you said, also consider, and here's what a lot of people miss, because we're so in the weeds with SEO and the technical components of what makes a good or bad SEO campaign. The most crucial component, and I'll die on this hill, is not just if Google likes it, if people like it, if their target avatar likes it. So intent's a big piece of that. Like, we can go and create a bunch of pieces of content that get traffic. For example, I mean, oh man, anything. Shit, maybe I shouldn't have said for example because I don't have one handy. I thought I had one, and then I was like, no, because that'd actually be a good piece of content for people. But like, you can create content that, for example, let's say you have a local site. Oh, this is actually a decent example, and you put like the weather on it or weather patterns and shit, and you start ranking for local weather terms. You can gather, and I've actually seen them. I saw it for things to do. People were ranking for things to do, and that's still a strategy people use, by the way. They say put things to do pages and stuff. And look, I'm not going to get into that. I was never for it. I'm not saying it does or doesn't work. There's enough niche-specific content you can put on your website that you should never have to revert to convincing Google you're in a certain geo based on non-niche relevant, right, like directory type shit. So I was never a fan of that. Like, you can find, dude, get all of your clients, if you're a roofer, and say like, hey, project in this neighborhood, project in that neighborhood, and post videos, pictures, testimonials, and do that shit. Do local content that way, where you're still tying it to the niche, and that content's valuable. You put that in the gallery. That's like conversion producing content, right? Like your other avatar sees that, or your avatars see that, like, oh shit, we know that neighborhood, we know that house, whatever. That's beautiful. Like, that's the type of stuff that people want to see, in my opinion. Do what you want. Everyone can do what you want. I'm just a friendly voice and face in the SEO community. But I think, like, so R1 Lawyer had shit like that, and they used to rank, like, they had this Halloween party or something, I can't remember, this Halloween event, and they ranked in the town locally, or maybe it did really well on social as well, but there was a combination of organic and social, pushed a ton of traffic. And it was like, that's great for local branding, by the way. That's great for local branding. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but it's like, there's just better ways. Like, there's a lot of ways you can produce traffic, but it's like, I'm much more like the higher, I like to go after the higher intent. Like, that's great that you're creating that local branding, and there's importance to that. That's why they buy billboards and shit. Like, I'm not saying that's not a form of marketing, or it's a bad form of marketing. I'm saying a better form of marketing is to be when they're sitting there not at work because they're injured from a car accident, that when they're trying to find out like, do I have a case? Can I sue? How much can I sue for? Like, those type of questions, those are the type that I want to go after, because they're mouth of the funnel, and that leads to much more high intent conversions than with your ideal avatar, as opposed to this broad, wide net that you're casting. Look, if you're dominating everywhere, cast broad nets. It's smart marketing at that point. But I see a lot of sites that aren't ranking for crucial terms that their avatar is searching for in order to convert, and they have like this, I don't want to call it irrelevant content, but just lower impact content casting these wider nets. And it's like, your money, your ROI is in different places.
Well, I love Search Console for that. I promote Search Console. I was like, if you are struggling and what to do next in your SEO campaign, go look at Search Console. You'll see keywords that Google's split testing you for on pages that you'll probably very easily identify that is not the content that should rank. You could probably immediately pick out opportunities to put up content that Google's already split testing your site for. There's, you could find various different, like, Google's actually pretty smart when it comes to split testing content when you look in Search Console. And if you just pick one page, you could see what Google's ranked for that page and what position at any given time, in Search Console. And not only is that valuable from like an opportunity standpoint, but you could often see how those fluctuations have even impacted with the updates or the core, updates or quality content updates. So, yeah, I remember the last consult I did, actually, they said, they asked me, they're like, so as far as you would say, do you think looking at Search Console and the SEO campaign data like this is probably the most important part to developing and building the campaign? And I was, yeah, 100%. Like, if you're not digging into that as part of your campaign to make adjustments, then you're missing out drastically.
Dude, it's huge. I agree. It's just dope to be able to get some type of data that is direct from the source, right? direct from the source data can be really effective. And like I said, I know a lot of people, I mean, we have a really diverse group in terms of where people are at in their business, freelance or agency, some direct business, but like, I know there's enough people who have access to GSC and analytics for a few sites in the same niche. Like, you don't have to go crazy, and the valuable information you can mine out of there is massive. So and you'll see in the video, like my final breakdown, most of my analysis happened, I think, on 10.5 million visits, just because there was such a patternistic like redundancy as you went up. Like, so there was 200 million to start, but I was able to basically get the same data from 10 million than I would have from finishing out the 200 million. And then, like, if I could get it from 10, how small could I have got? Like, how much can you get from 100,000 visits, which isn't much. If you have a site that's ranking for a couple of terms, like, getting 100,000 visits isn't a lot, right? Especially if you have a bunch of different content on it. Like, a lot of people would probably be surprised if they went in their analytics and quickly added up how many visits, how much data they have in terms of visits. And I imagine most people listening to this could look at 500,000 to 1 million visits pretty easily. And it's a nice bit of data to start with.
You can even pull your data with your friends. Like, I have friends I could pull.
That's how I got started early on.
That's actually a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, you get to, well, you gotta have friends, Mark.
You have to have people that you trust to share the data with. That's actually
what I meant by you gotta have friends, is you gotta have people you can trust, which is honestly hard in this agency. If you work close with some people, like, and I recommend that with testing too, which is why, like, if you're not testing, you should definitely be doing some kind of test. But if you can get even 2-3 people together, look at that, share data, tests. I've been in a few of those groups, to be honest, over the years. Some that people probably know that are more popular and well known in the industry, and then some that were just some smaller groups where we just kind of got together. But that is probably the most powerful advice, Sophie, is find people you can trust and start building. Like, and you'll notice the most successful people in this industry have groups that they work with. You can connect them.
You share information. You don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely a trust aspect in working with other people that can really propel your business, especially when it comes to data and gathering data, for sure.
Well, even just seeing what their strategy with creating content, because I've looked at other people's data and gotten ideas of, I haven't even thought about it that way. I didn't go that angle.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome stuff. So, that was a long little spiel on the content training.
Yeah, but we got a lot done because we started hitting on tests and
I didn't realize how much it all was interconnected until we started talking about it.
It's all connected once you start digging, Sophie. Everything's connected.
You know what it goes back to? The basics. The basics.
It's all connected.
It is all connected, but
none of it's
all made up.
Oh,
it's all made up, and the points don't matter.
Sophie.
I wasn't even going to talk about the topical relevance test because that one hasn't even been. I haven't reported on that recently. It was like October 20th, the last time we talked about it, but they quit building links last week, and I'm actually surprised that they're still gaining they quit building content last week, and they're still gaining new keywords, and the existing keywords are ranking higher.
We should look at the crawl data if we can see that, because I'm betting we'll see the crawl going up, and then if it stops kind of gaining, though, we'll probably see a taper off in the crawling.
Also,
I wonder how soon that would be when you stop producing consistent content.
I'd say I would be surprised if it wasn't already happening. It's just being masked because you're producing new content. I'd imagine there's a built-in just based on what I've seen before, there's probably a built-in decay and shit already started dropping off. It's just new stuff being added, and it's kind of
how much content can you write about TV mounting though?
Probably a lot. How valuable will it be is the question.
Do you want me? I can actually give you an answer. Using my system, you could probably write way too much content. A dumb amount. An unneeded amount. But you're right. How much of it's valuable? How much do you want to write? That's the thing. Like, you don't want to, but who knows?
You don't
Knowing
just write
Lasha, he
content
might
just to
be.
write content. Like, I have a client that does that. It's stupid.
That has been a popular SEO strategy for years. Not a good one either. Just fluff. I always called it fluff pieces. Like, hey, this agency's giving us 4 pieces of content a month. I was like, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the content that you're getting in that type of a model. And most of the times it's junk and not needed. Sometimes even harmful. Like on a macro. Like, man, posting, like 2 out of the 4 of these is complete junk. In 2 years, you're gonna have Google so confused.
That's where thin content came
about
from.
the topics.
Literally, the thin content algo came from, I think, that idea of pumping out content that targets terms, with like a good solid heading one and 500 words, 300 words that answers a question,
True. Yeah. Also, man, I believe there's definitely a point where you can get with your brand where this isn't, I don't think it affects you nearly as much, which is why you see a lot of the huge media sites doing like just all these different like for affiliate products and shit. Like, huge news organizations now have the entire affiliate thing going, which is weird to look at, but it's a thing that's been happening for a while. I hate to see that. But like, they seem to be fine, but I'm still a pretty big believer in the theory of like topic dilution for smaller sites. Like, I think until you're the 800-pound gorilla, you have to be really careful about having Google deviate, like, oh shit, there's enough of this type of content where we're gonna, right, like, semantically we now feel like the site's about this as well. And I think that can be really, really scary to do for smaller sites, and a lot of that comes again just from theory and anecdotal observation. So like, it's not like biblical.
The smaller you are, the more strategic you have to be, really.
In my opinion, like, yeah, I think that's probably a shared opinion to some extent.
Well, if you just think about it in terms of numbers, if you only have 10 pages and one of them is trash, it's going to be weighted more heavily than someone who has 20,000
pages. Yeah, you could throw
100,000
pages and get more to stick than throwing 10 pages. You have to be more strategic getting 10 to work than 100,000 to get a result, Kind of makes sense.
Plus, it pulls budget away from other things.
Yeah.
I was trying to convince somebody not to do as much content, and they were dead set on 3 a month. I'm like, okay, well, that's where your money's gonna go.
Yeah, I feel like, oh man, I feel like that's great if you just have budget, right? Like, if you just have the budget, but man, being able to spend the money to amplify the content you make, links, and making sure just all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, like, man, just making more content arbitrarily when you're not taking care of the content that's already there. That's a tough one. Like, that's tough. That's definitely a strategic conversation you have to think about having.
Alrighty, any more exciting updates? Or
the custom signals test really doesn't have much update. We published the update last Friday, but there hasn't really been much change. So last Tuesday we optimized the listing, and then I think next week we'll build more citations, and then we should hopefully see some more movement. Because right now I'm kind of surprised with how little we've seen, but I guess I've never built signals on a brand new listing. Like, and that's the only thing I'm doing.
Like, by itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, isolate it. Yeah. I think it's cool we're doing this, though, just because the work we're putting in to continuously improve the signals product, which we've already done some, and we have some huge plans for that are in the works now. It's exciting that we'll have benchmarks, right, to be able to test the efficacy as the product continues to evolve. So that's exciting. I'm also pretty confident once we move out of kind of the slow roll phase, then we just go ahead and have them do a stronger push. I'm actually pretty confident in the results, and, whatever. I don't know what I was going to add there, but I dumbed out. I apologize. Sophie, did you strategically skip this one?
About the dashboard? No. We were just talking about testing. I just confirmed this with Nate yesterday, so that's why I wanted to talk about it.
It's exciting.
Yeah, so in Q1 of 2024, we'll have the new dashboard completely launched and rolled out. Right now, I think we're already in some testing phases. He said within the next couple of weeks, we'll be running orders side by side just so we can start weeding out the bugs and addressing all the different intricacies. But as we go, I'm just going to post those videos he's been dropping for us. I'm just going to share them on our socials. So follow along because Nate keeps dropping little update videos generally in the late hours of the night. And they're pretty cool to follow along with because it's making me way more excited about the dashboard. And I know almost everybody who has used Web 20 will be very excited as well.
So it's almost like calling it a dashboard once it's live is going to be a disservice.
So, okay, I'm thinking the name needs to be like client management or something. With how much integrations he has going into it,
it's moving away from an order dashboard to a literal experience and a hub.
An SEO
like
tool.
This can be a hub. It's
an agency tool.
Like
yeah,
it's impactful. It really is.
Did he even tell you he's doing the high level integrations now?
Oh, I think I saw
He's
that.
going to make it so you can sync all your sub accounts into the dashboard so that if you're using high level and your agency or your clients are using it, you can just sync it all together with the API.
Well, we have a lot of really big GHL updates coming. We're integrating a bunch of tools with it. We have some insane AI appointment setting going into that. So like some of you have already seen with the launch of the tools section from the AP program, like that's going to live in the new dash. We're going to have training centralized there, and entire reporting's going to be completely revamped. Even simple stuff like the entire press system's being migrated in. Now everyone's releases will still be white labeled from the third party press company. But the entire experience reporting, we're going to have similar to like a YAC style reporting, even for like citations. Like everything's changing to be more built more for you to be able to containerize clients and reporting into it. Lots of tools sync up opportunities. We have an a la carte guest post option in there now. That is, if it's not live now, it will be in the next. I think it's live now, and we also have link analysis tools. Our recommendations will soon be entirely in the dash, being driven by some insane technology that I'll walk you guys through all of the tech and how it works, how it was built. Truly heads and shoulders above what else you're gonna get out there, and I'll start to say that more and more because, like, we're in the game, baby. We're in the game, and we're gonna do some crazy shit. And it's finally like we started working on this almost as soon as we acquired, and it's now all starting to come to fruition. Just everything's a little bit to a lot better, and we're gonna continue that momentum. And it truly will go from a dash to an experience. Like you'll be in an experience with tons of tools that as soon as you hit the level 1 AP program, the tools are going to be free, right? So like all of your tools will be there. We're continuously adding tools. Like I said, by Q1, so if you talked about, we'll probably have 3 or 4 completely functioning. Like we're talking like over $1 million in engineering and tools that are going to be sitting in there by Q1. And we have plans for more. Nate and I talked again last night. Like, he's putting shit in there. I was like, wow, you're going to put that in there? I was like, all right, do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, throw it in there.
Fuck it. Put it all in there. We're all in on this one. Just do it. Put everything in there for everybody. I mean, you're literally like, we spent a lot of money on engineering over the years. We're putting it all in there. If you're serious about growing your business, which at this point, serious means $500 a month in our services, gets you the AP program. That's not even that serious. Many would argue that is barely serious, but we're going to give you access to these tools.
At that point, if you sell one client with absolutely no markup and don't make any money, you're profiting by being the middleman between just sending the money to Web20 and getting the tools for free. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, tons of tools. So Pretty cool stuff, man. Like, it's truly like, it has to go from order dashboard, and not a great one at that, right? We heard everyone loud and clear, internally and externally, that the fucking dash had to go. So believe me, we started engineering right away on that. Nate's doing phenomenal. Igor's been a huge part. Everyone's been a huge part. Everyone was interviewed. Say, here's how we make it better. The engineers have been phenomenal. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, you can see the energy when you see, like, everyone talk about it that's involved. Like, it's big energy. It's big, good energy. Big, good energy.
It's a pain point in most of our jobs right now. Whether it's pulling data or just finding what we need.
Yeah. Yep. So, very exciting. Like, everyone's stoked, and it truly is, like, it's going to be special, and I'm really excited to roll it out. Get people in using tools. The plan, I don't even want to go through the roadmap because it's unbelievable. And like the shit we're going to add in there to hook you guys up and help everyone's like.
I might publish parts of the roadmap once Nate gets some more details together. I think it'd be cool.
I'll let you do that. I can't do it because there's like so much shit that I just don't even.
Well, you can't go too in detail. I just want to show an overview.
Even the link tool.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I've been playing a lot more around with the link tool in there and just the anchor text mapping, and that's going to be just huge value to not have to think twice about what anchor text to use on your campaign anymore, you know?
Yeah. And the way we're doing it, it's not like these other link tools. I've been telling you guys for almost 10, LCT's almost 10 years old. I'm not like these other girls out here. You're not going to get the same type of link tool that everyone else has. Like, the depth we're going on link analysis and anchor text classifications, just, I'm not aware of it being done.
Me neither.
And it's free. It'll be free.
It'll be free in the APP. You down with APP?
We'll have to film a commercial like that once you get the tools.
We absolutely do, but then we also have to get licensing, I'm sure. So, yeah, no, screw it. Just wait till we get sued.
We'll change the music just enough so it's
Vanilla Ice
just over the line.
Naughty by Nature. I wonder who still owns the rights to that. The one guy passed away, right?
So.
Isn't that Tretch?
But some studio has to own the rights. But generally, they don't just let those things disappear to nowhere.
I know, but I'm hoping it's a broke enough person that can't afford to sue us.
I forgot about that. You could own everything, but without money to sue, it does you no good.
This is not a good time to be Googling this. This is a really dumb thing to do when we're on the vault. Sorry. I started... Was Tretch there, though? Is that Tretch?
Horrible with names. That's such a long time ago.
Mark is going down a rabbit hole.
It is. Tretch.
A non-productive rabbit hole.
You know what, Sophie?
This whole call started with an hour of non-productive rabbit holes before we even started doing the vault, so...
Yeah, but let's not bring that back up. Do you really want to work with an SEO who doesn't know his basic hip-hop history? Because if so, that's fine. I'll stop. But
no,
I thought your guys' expectations would be
little
like... What if aliens came and like, you have to answer hip-hop history trivia or you'll die? Boom. Boom. I would have just saved us, Sophie.
So you're going to save me from aliens and be my boss.
Oh, you said the B word.
Dude, I'm not ill.
I know, it's a horrible word.
I hate that word. You
don't like the word boss?
No, it's like a weird hierarchy thing. Do you guys feel like I boss you guys? I feel like we're homies that work on SEO.
What else would I call you? Like, my owner? That sounds worse.
I call him a partner.
Please don't call me that. No, don't call me
partner.
Yeah, we could be friends that I have to pay for.
My friend I work with.
Yeah, that's how valuable we are, Sophie.
Yeah, man. That's terrible. Let me tell you about this one loser who pays me to hang out. I mean, I do some work and shit at the company, but we're basically just friends.
He's not a boss.
No. I know. Oh, I hate that word. That's just a weird word.
I hated that word.
Oh,
I don't even like manager,
cringy.
To be honest. Like, I don't like any terms of in business. Like when I'm involved, I don't like the idea of people being above other people. in a structure, like better than. That's the way I feel. Like it feels like boss, and not that we don't need bosses and managers, but I'm just saying the words. It like implies like a higher level, which I don't like.
I feel like we're all just cogs in the Web 20 machine, and we all have a role to play. And
yeah, that's about it.
Did you even find any big SEO news this week, Mike? I only found one thing, and I don't even think it's really news.
Stuff, but as far as like from an SEO standpoint, no, I didn't see too much craziness. There's some cool stuff. Cool. I was just reading over the fraudulent and weaponized DMCA. That's what I was looking at.
Me too.
I was like, it's not really SEO, but that's kind of cool.
Dude, these dudes were maliciously filing DMCA takedown requests at thousands of their competitors' website URLs, and Google was suing them for it. They weaponized copyright laws, notice, and takedown process and use it for not its intended purpose of expeditiously removing infringing content, but instead to have the legitimate content of their competitors removed based on false allegations. 620,000 URLs, dude. That's negative SEO right there.
I would call that weaponizing.
Dude, who are they suing? I wonder if we know these people. It's a small industry.
I wonder if we know these people.
Sometimes we know people, man. Who are they suing?
Does it say the name in there?
Well, sure, it's the link to the lawsuit.
Lex Lumina PLLC.
Oh, no. Okay, so I see who they're suing. Those are not. Okay.
I don't know either.
I'm gonna Google them.
So yeah, I mean,
you can
don't be one of those people.
That sucks for them.
It looks like these people were also scamming AI chatbot and doing malware.
Well, that's just negative, yeah.
Nice guys.
Oh my gosh, they have a YouTube video. We can see their faces.
Well, that happened.
Yeah, I think that's which is kind of interesting though, because negative SEO has always been a thing, but like negative SEO has slowly transferred over into like fraud and legal issues over the years.
Well, it's like those people with negative reviews or the fake reviews where you could get in legal trouble.
But they were just trying to rank a website or a GMB listing, and now they're dealing with like serious issues, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there's probably one person that was super malicious about it and did some fucked up things, and then now they have rules that apply to everybody because that one person ruined it.
Oh, shit.
What are you looking at?
This is interesting. Dude, we should start having a disjointed news segment.
I can dress up like Saturday Night Live news
or
thing?
A news anchor.
No, not that much.
Well, I don't know how much silly goosery these people want. I can be a silly goose, but there's only so much silly.
That's interesting.
There's only so much silly geesery people will take, Mike. Google search test notes on search results. It's a lab experiment you can turn off and on. Google launched a new search labs experiment named Notes. Notes gives searchers a way to write their own notes on a specific search result listing and within Google Discover, while also allowing others to read people's notes on that search listing.
That is a whole different, cool. What's it called? Social media?
That's where
you crowdsource the content? Or my mind just went blank. But literally now they're...
It's interesting.
That's going to bring a whole new dynamic to search and the way people communicate across results and stuff.
I feel like you know what that is? It's like almost a little bit Reddit-y. Like they're trying to take an aspect of Reddit where it's like user-generated opinions.
User-generated. That's what I was looking for. They're looking for user-generated content and interaction. Probably to feed their AI and other stuff too.
I was just about to say, I guarantee they're using that. But did you see this one off to play with this? Because now I'm interested. I don't want to assume anything. But this actually looks wild. Like, who else gets to see these notes? Because some of these notes are like recommending a specific, looks like to be a specific result.
Yeah, there could be an SEO strategy there where pretty soon people are going to get sued for leaving fake notes.
Like
But your
Swiss
note
butter
is
tastes
just an
Exactly.
really
opinion.
well.
Like your note is an
But
opinion.
if
You
you
can't
own
get sued for
500
an
Google
opinion
accounts, now you have 500 opinions.
that are pushing it in
That's
one.
okay. No, that's okay. I checked the legality on that very recently.
Just for out of
You
curiosity,
can't get
of
sued for
course.
botting opinions.
You can even add links in the
Really?
notes to other pages.
No, so we actually so we had a very special campaign where we were using a botnet of social media accounts to sway public opinion on a matter, and you're protected under the U.S. Constitution as long as you don't lie. You can't lie, and you can't. The main thing was don't lie. That was the biggest thing. And if anything is mentioned in like a disparaging way, you have to make sure the shit's, which goes into lying, like super factual. Like if there's like an allegation, don't like state the allegation as a fact. Because like Sophie's right. Like that's why if you ever want to say something really bad about someone, you'd be like, in my opinion, that
You
person's
can't say
scamming
like they
people.
scammed this
Even
person.
if they are, like you want to
Because now
protect
it's
yourself.
defamation.
No, you can. No. You can say they scammed a person if they factually did, and you're okay going to court for that and winning, being like, hey, they did scam them. But like, let's say someone, a friend, is trying to sell me their crypto project and shilling it to me like crazy, and I could say, hey, that person's a scam artist. You can't do that because they might
that's
not
also
scam.
Now there's also.
Right? But if you say, in my opinion,
We've also
scam
we've
you.
also seen in like the crypto space, if you say this is not financial advice, that doesn't waive your liability for causing harm if people heard what you said and took it as financial advice and invested. So saying that something is my opinion, you could still go to court and get sued, and they would have to just prove that essentially that you still made that statement even though you started by saying it's my opinion. But yeah, so there's.
I mean, you can sue someone for anything though. It's the problem is if it's going to become have a legal ramification. None of this is legal advice, by the way. I'm not a lawyer. What the fuck do I know? Why would you people listen to me about this shit? But we did ask a lawyer about the bot stuff because we got a little worried because we were botting opinions on a large scale to sway public opinion, and it actually worked. And we checked with a lawyer because everyone got really fucking scared.
Well, yeah, it depends on what opinions you're swaying too. It's not like you were just convincing people to buy Doritos or something.
And this episode's also brought to you by Doritos. No, these notes look cool. I want to dig a little bit before I comment though, because like it looks. I want to mess with that a bit.
I want to understand more how people could see what other people put or how that's being filtered. Like.
That's what I'm worried at. There's a picture of it, like underneath the search result. It says like you can add a note, and then it shows you how many notes there are.
Like 500 notes. Everyone's just gonna see those. Like that's just the way it is. Like, yeah.
Probably not.
I would think there's like
and
a
I'm
filter
wondering how that
some
filter
kind.
works. Yeah, we definitely
let's test it.
Or what if they group the notes together, like the notes that are all saying? Because you got to think a lot of people have similar answers. Like if it's like what's the best mac and cheese recipe, and everybody has their opinion.
The AI will probably start picking that up too. They'll probably have like AI, from these 900 notes, these are the common points that were found across them with the number of notes.
What if the notes are just created to feed their AI with more information that's not published online?
That was my immediate thing. So I actually just talked to a guy today, very has a consistent cadence of conversations with Google reps from AdWords. And he says the shit they're going to start letting you do using AI for ads, YouTube and AdWords, is insane. And what Bard they're going to have Bard and some of their other models supporting is absolutely uncanny. So like, my first thought was like, I wonder how they're going to use this to train, right? I don't know. Let's just test it though, because we just speculated about something
even knew about until 30 minutes ago.
But I'm excited. Let's all test this and win.
But it's brand new. It's only going to be speculation.
Well, we test it. That's
I know.
And day test for the mad scientist.
That is true.
We should
also in a
testing
sing-song
more
voice.
of their features.
We should
Yeah.
test a lot of more stuff.
Like
We should have
There are
1,000
yeah,
mad
we
scientists.
I mean, we got so much going on right now. But yeah, we've had at least like 20, 30 people running tests. That's the way I picture it.
Sophie was telling me she would like a lot more to manage and look after.
That's what I heard too, actually. She was like, I don't got enough work.
Poor Sophie.
That's exactly how I feel after my call today with Danielle, and she's like, well, what are you going to do with the year-end sale? That's in 5 weeks.
Well,
don't laugh, Mike. It's not your problem.
I'm just going to put this out here. You had all year to plan for this sale.
Oh my God. Poor Sophie.
That's like a 12-day sale. That's like
it's the biggest sale of the year, but it's because we do it differently. That's why.
Is it really?
It's different.
Oh my God.
We'll probably do. I mean, like the sale we're running right now, simple. Which, by the way, do we give out an early bird incentive for this sale, like to sign up or something like that? So that's something, because I don't know if we'll be doing that for the end of year sale too. But anyone who didn't sign up to get that extra savings is, if you're watching this now, you already missed out. But definitely pay attention for that. That's something I know we've done a little here and there. So yeah,
we should actually make a lengthy list for Sophie of different characteristics we'd like to see in this
new things we could try.
Okay, the end of year sale. That's why I dropped you the page. Like, it's not the biggest discounts. It's the most complicated, and it happens when we take. I'm gonna lie,
Sophie messages me things.
We should just clean that up. Let's clean that up.
Sophie usually messages me things about the sale like 3 months before. Like, are we gonna start looking at this now?
Well, there's so many things to think about, and like with your guys' trainings, like that's gonna take you hours to build those new trainings or finish them,
which is huge. Like, that's a whole nother level of.
And with the way Mike's been operating, I'm gonna have to do his training too.
Making videos is hard.
His videos too.
Making videos, I avoid it like the plague. Like, I procrastinate and find anything else to do besides make a video.
I need to just get back in the role of it better. I'll be fine. I used to make a lot of videos. I spent a couple years working in my dark office on strategy,
and no one.
I did really. Yeah, like the videos I made were internal, and I was like half asleep and cussing, and like, guys, check this shit out.
In your pajamas,
this like this,
or no shirt at all.
I'm always in my pajamas, Sophie. This is it.
The other day, Mike, I did a call with Nate, and he had his robe on. You could tell he had just woken up.
I ain't gonna lie, though, like, I don't know about Mark and Nate, but I pretty much finish working and lay down and then get up and come to the computer, especially now, unless like I have something to do with my kids. So, like, you have to make a conscious choice to get dressed some days. With all the stuff we got going on, it's like I don't got time to put on some clothes and just be in my pajamas and work until 12 o'clock tonight.
Pajamas are clothes, so
not my parents.
Put that PSA out there.
I used to get in trouble for that. I wasn't allowed to wear pajamas out of the house. Yeah. Now everyone wears them. I feel like I messed up. Anyway.
You're born in the wrong generation.
I don't think there's any two other crazy news. I definitely want to look into the notes thing more. Not going to be sending DMCAs as a SEO tactic, that's for sure.
Negative SEO using copyright law. It's crazy to know that's illegal, though. I wouldn't have thought we would get sued for that if we did that. Not that we have ever.
Well, because are the DCMAs valid? DMCAs valid? Are they just sending them?
Well,
so that's
obviously they were frivolous. Yeah, they're obviously frivolous.
Is that a government document, or like because once you
that's like
submit,
like the start to a legal process. That's like the official eviction notice.
They didn't you see they submitted for 620,000 URLs.
I mean, they were just scraping competitors and automatically shooting them off with the software. Clearly.
I wonder what percentage of those were getting like like algorithmically taken down, or if every one of them had to get. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way you review every one of those. Like, that's insane, right? There has to be some type of filtering process to
We
get
see
there.
a lot of stuff, like
Maybe? I
even
don't know.
like these lawyers online that put up the fake image sites with copyrighted images that like give them away, and in the fine print you have to give like, you know, a credit the picture to their site. They're literally just sites with images made by lawyers that scrape the web to find people using them without the credit and then sue you for
Yeah,
send
it's
you
like,
the letter. Like the internet's a scary place.
yeah, like honeypot.
Mhm.
They try to honeypot a settlement
I paid
check out of you.
$500 for one at one point. I did, yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
They got me.
They got you.
And legally, though, it's like they legally got me. Like they could have taken me to court and sued for their fees
Yeah,
and
but
more.
okay, isn't that like entrapment? Isn't that like entrapment with police? Like that, I see
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
similarly.
The internet's a gray area, and if it's in their terms of use, like you got to read the terms of use to use something. That's.
Have you seen the Black Mirror episode where Netflix has in their terms and conditions that they
Use
like
your
spy on
likeness
you
and
and
your
then they can
story for the
use you
reality
for
series and stuff. It's the most recent one, right?
well, like they're filming the person, like the TV is filming her, and then they're using that
Yeah,
for
I
part
saw
of
that one.
the.
It was the very first episode of the newest season, and they were like using AI to.
It was scary. I was like, I never read
Well,
the
I
terms and
just assume that
conditions.
they're claiming ownership over everything, so I don't bother reading it.
Yeah, but they could write like, "I
Yeah,
get
they
your
can do whatever
firstborn
they want.
child."
Like they can steal my face and put it on people. I mean, they can. Yeah, and I
That's
mean
already
there'll be
happening.
people
I'm
framing
pretty
people
sure.
for crimes with fake evidence and like deep. That's all going to be a whole nother.
They already have those deep fake doctored
Yeah.
videos and stuff where
It's
you can't
going to
even
be a
tell what's
very
real.
crazy future. So, with that said,
Buckle up.
I think we're about end of the vault. It's gone. We've covered
Yeah.
quite a few things. So, yes,
This has
yes,
been
it
a long
is.
episode.
And if you enjoyed this episode, remember, like, share, comment, smash that subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. Until then, bye.
Bye.